Me and my mum flew into Lahore from Muscat, which was roughly a 2.5-hour flight. Upon arrival, our senses were simply overwhelmed. There was so much going on, and the hustle and bustle wasn't something we were entirely used to. We spent about 4 days in the city, visiting a multitude of sites. We visited the Wagah Border ceremony with India, the old walled city, different markets such as the Anarkali Bazaar and Ichra Bazaar, the Badshahi Mosque, the Wazir Mosque, different gardens, and so much more. This is a video diary of our trip.
So, I've just arrived in Pakistan today. We're in Lahore. We're at a market called Anarkali Market, and I've just bought my first shalwar kameez. The weather's absolutely boiling, but it's cooler than it is in Muscat. Yeah, it's very interesting to be here. It's such a different place to perhaps anywhere I've been before. Everything's so alive, even though it's boiling hot.
The Anarkali Bazaar is one of the city's busiest, and it's located just outside of the walled city. There were food stalls, souvenir shops, pashmina scarves, spices, electronics, and so much more on sale here. We had to navigate alleyways filled with rickshaws, people, bicycles, and scooters in our way. Simply crossing the road felt like an adventure. The following morning, we made it through relentless 40-degree heat to the Badshahi Mosque. It was built in the 1600s and is a masterpiece of Mughal architecture, the same empire which built the Taj Mahal.
Hi, so right now we are in the Badshahi Mosque, which is one of the main tourist attractions in Lahore. It's an absolutely stunning place. This is our second day in Lahore, second day in Pakistan, and it's just absolutely mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing.
Having escaped the soaring temperatures in the Badshahi Mosque, we navigated our way through Lahori traffic to the Lahore Museum. Unfortunately, cameras were not allowed inside. However, the museum was fantastic. The highlight of it for me was the fasting Buddha, probably the creepiest Buddha I've ever seen. But the true highlight of the day was this place, the Wagah Border crossing with India. Here you can see the Pakistani and Indian flags both flying high. Daily there is a flag lowering ceremony which proves to be a testament to both Pakistani and Indian patriotism. In the summer, the ceremony takes place just before sunset, so as to avoid the hottest parts of the day. In other parts of the year it takes place earlier. The atmosphere is truly unique. It is one of strong emotion, national pride and deep-rooted culture. The partition period will not be forgotten. However, one tragic aspect is that despite being so culturally close, Punjabis on one side of the border are seldom granted visas to travel to the other side. In this video you can hear the Pakistanis chanting Allahu Akbar, meaning God is the greatest. Equally powerful music could be heard from the Indian side, and all this was before the ceremony had even started. These two ladies started off the ceremony by marching to the border gate. The words on the gate, Pakistan Zindabad, mean long live Pakistan. These ladies were soon followed by the world famous male guards. These men were shockingly tall. I mean, have a look at the size difference between me and one of them. After the marching had finished, the border gates would open, and one of the Pakistani soldiers would symbolically shake hands with his Indian counterpart. The flags would then be lowered, and the ceremony would end. This happens every day. After visiting Wagah, we had planned to visit the famous Sufi ceremony at Shah Jamal Shrine, which was said to be held every Thursday night. However, upon arrival, we discovered that it had been discontinued due to security risks.
So it's our third day in Pakistan. Right now we're on top of the Badshahi Mosque, not the Badshahi Mosque, the Wazir Mosque, which is in the heart of the old city of Lahore. So the place is quite empty. We're pretty much the only people around here this morning. But right now we're going up one of the minarets, and we're going to get a beautiful view of the old city of Lahore.
We then whizzed through the Lahori traffic to visit the tomb of Jahangir, a famous Mughal emperor who lived in the 1600s. Here we walked through the beautiful gardens and met some friendly people.
Hi, so we're at this tomb on the outskirts of Lahore, and we've got joined by loads of girls, and we're being taken round by this security man, and it's just been hilarious because they've just decided to come and join us on our whole trip here. It's great.
We were soon back in a rickshaw, on our way to visit the Lahore Zoo. This place is perfect for people watching. However, being the only foreigners there, I feel like we were more of an attraction than the animals were. So many people wanted to take pictures with us. However, they were all very friendly and none of them felt imposing. A few people even stopped to thank us for visiting Pakistan despite its negative press. Our fourth and final day in Lahore was mostly spent exploring markets and in the walled city. This market, the Ichra Bazaar, was one of the most bustling. It was alive with colour, and it was one of the most enjoyable markets we visited in Lahore. This market seemed to specialise in textiles, but there was so much more than that on offer. We then moved on to the walled city, which is a sprawling maze of thin alleyways, markets, shrines and traffic of all kinds. Inside the walled city, we visited the Fakir Khana Museum, which was one of the best private collections of antiquities and paintings that we had ever seen. They give you a free guided tour, but you must make an appointment beforehand. We then found a rooftop cafe on Food Street and admired this beautiful view of the Badshahi Mosque. We then returned to the core parts of the walled city to learn about something very different, Paan. Paan is a combination of betel leaf and areca nut, and it is very popular in South Asia. In Pakistan, there are two kinds that you can buy. One has a stimulating effect similar to tobacco, the other kind makes you high. When people finish chewing it, they spit out a red fluid which makes a distinct stain on the floor. Besides that, two foreigners buying Paan in the walled city did certainly put a smile on some locals' faces. Having finished the trip to Lahore, the following day we drove up to Islamabad via Qatasraj temples and the Kyora salt mine. Thank you all very much for watching. If you want to know more about my trip to Pakistan, I will soon be posting my next video about Pakistan's northern areas. Or you can check out my blog posts at www.travellingtheunknown.com.